It's 1985, just past midnight, and the streets are quiet. A young man walks home from a night out on the town. He accidentally stumbles upon a vortex to hell. Dragged in and ripped apart by the demons, they reanimate and send him back to another time.
Alright, welcome to Zen Master's Basic 1 tutorial. So before we get started, we always want to check to make sure we have the correct settings. We covered this in the previous video. So I have my grid, my snap, and my line weight. Those are the ones we usually check before we start drawing. I'm going to go to the snap settings, so I click here, snap settings, and just verify that my grid spacing is at 1 for both X and Y. There is nothing checked for grid behavior, and my snap is at 0.25. Just remember that depending on the lesson or the assignment that you're doing, you're going to have to go in here and change these values, and this is where you would do that. Click OK. Come over here, make to the line weight, right click, go to line weight settings, then I make sure it's on inches, and then this scroll bar is on the second one from the left, so hopefully it's already should be, but if not, this is where you go and change it before you start drawing. Alright, so now first step we're going to do, first command we're going to do, basically we're going to learn how to change the background color. Right now it's black. Depending on whatever drawing you're doing, you may want to change it to a different color. So I'm going to go ahead and right click my mouse, go to options, display, and colors, and then here I can select any color I want. I'm going to go ahead and turn it to white, apply it, click OK, and now I've got a white background. You'll see that in the tutorial, a lot of the tutorials you'll get to, the grid lines, they're not necessarily lines, but they're dots. And let me show you how to change it if you want them to be exactly the same as the tutorial. You don't have to, it's just preference, but I'm just going to show you that if you do want to have them as dots, you can. And to do that, you would basically go to the snap settings, and then where it says 2D model space right there. If I check that, click OK, now you can kind of see that my grid lines turn into dots, and you know, I prefer the lines, so I'm going to go back to lines, so snap settings, just uncheck that and click OK. Let's say again I want to change my background to yellow, so I right click my mouse, options, colors, and yellow, apply, and there's yellow. Okay, so basically it's preference, but basically when you're doing your lessons I expected to have it in black or white. These other ones you can for fun, but at least for when you have to turn in your assignments to me, just make sure it's black or white. I'm going to go ahead and turn it to white, so you can see the lines a little bit better. So I'm going to go to white, apply it, okay, there we go. And that's how you change colors. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the thing called dynamic input. So down here in this button right here, the one's got the plus and the bar, that's the dynamic input. And I turn that on, and then basically what that does, it shows a lot of information on the screen. So here I go to a line, for example, and if I just draw a line, and you can kind of see the information that already pops up. It already shows me how long the line is, and it also shows me the angle. Okay, so let's just say I click and then I want to stop the line. So what I have to do to stop the line, you either hit escape, spacebar, or enter, or even right click your mouse to stop doing your line. I hit enter, hit stop. Now for this dynamic input, now that it's on, I can click on it, and then these blue squares are called grips. So if I hang out over one, it tells me information of the line. So I've got a line that's 4.528, 6 degrees. It also works for circles. So for example, if I get a circle, click here, and I draw a circle, click on it, and then you hang out over a grip, and it tells you the size of the circle. So it's a pretty useful tool. I'm going to erase this. And again, to erase, there's a lot of ways to erase. You can come up to the scissors here. You can go to the modify erase button, and then there's an eraser over here. But the quickest way I've found is basically just select it, right click, and go erase. Okay, that's erase and dynamic input. Next thing I'm going to show is the move command. So let's just say I get a rectangle here, rectangle button. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little box here, and basically let's see if I want to move it. To move it, you just select, right click your mouse, go move, click anywhere you want, but I usually click near the object, and then I can just drag it to wherever I want to go. So let's just move it down here. Okay, so there it's moved. So let's move it one more time. You select, right click your mouse, go move, grab it, and you can move it to where you want to put it. Next up is copy. So I'm going to select it, right click, copy selection, click on it, and I can go ahead and make lots of copies of it. See that? Okay, lots of copies. To end it, so I don't want to copy anymore, but to end the command, you either hit spacebar, escape, enter, or right click your mouse. This time I'm going to hit escape, and it ends the command. So let's just say I want to erase these 4 squares. So I erase those 4 right here. 1, 2, select it, and then what you can either do, another way of doing it is, again, I showed you, you can just right click and go erase, or what you can do is you just select it and then hit delete on your keyboard. That'll work the same way. There's lots of ways of doing the same kind of command in this program. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to do the trim command. Okay, the trim command basically lets me cut lines. So for example, if I wanted to erase the lines that are all inside this like cross right here, so if I try to do that right now, if I go try to erase, it erases the whole object. Let me go undo, and that's not what I want. So we have to use the trim command. Okay, to do the trim command, there's lots of ways of doing it, but the best way, or the quickest way I found, is just type in TR, and it even pops up on your screen. It pops up on the screen because we have dynamic input on. If this was not on, the commands will not pop up on the screen. They'll pop up down here in the bar, it's called the command line, but they won't pop up on your screen. So it's helpful to have that dynamic input on. So I type in TR, enter, select it. It says select objects or select all. I always go select all, so I'm making a big selection. Most people who forget this step here is they don't hit enter. Make sure you hit enter. So I hit enter. Now I go ahead and click on the lines that I want, and it even forecasts or even just shows you what's going to happen before I click on it. See that? Click on it and click on it, and there we go. Now let me show you how to do an offset now. Okay, to do offset is basically copying, and then you tell how far you want it to copy, like the distance. Okay, to offset it, there's lots of ways. You can go modify. There's offset right here. There's also trim, like we just learned, but again, using the shortcut keys is the way to go. So to do offset, I'm going to go O, enter, and then the distance I want to offset it is going to be 1. So the distance will be given to you either in the book or in the video of how far you got to move your distance. So I just said I want it to go 1, so I go 1. Don't forget to go enter. Most people forget this part. Hit enter. Then you just click on your lines and then offset it out. Click on the lines, offset it out. Click on the lines, offset it out. So that's kind of a neat little diagram. It can also work for circles. So let's just say I have a circle here. Yeah, let me hit escape. If you're something's going on with your mouse, just hit escape, and that usually clears things. Yeah, circle. Okay, I'm going to draw me a circle right here. Now, what's the steps to do an offset? O, enter, type in the distance you want to go. Let's say I want to go 0.5. Enter, click on the line, then you click to the direction you want to go, and then you just offset it. Okay, so to erase again, you just select it all. You can either hit delete on your keyboard or right click your mouse and go erase, and then there you go. And then to make sure you have your whole screen shown, a good way to do that is zoom all. So all you have to do is just type in Z, enter, A, enter, and everything just zooms up back to normal for you. One more status bar button that we're going to learn is called ortho. So that's the one down here. Okay, so there, I turn it on, and then just go ahead and get a line, and you can kind of see what happens when I draw with ortho on. See what's kind of happening? It only lets you draw horizontal and vertical lines. If I take this ortho off, now I'm kind of free to go where I want. Turn ortho back on. That you only just draw horizontal or vertical lines. So for when you draw shapes of squares and rectangles. You know, it's kind of helpful to have this ortho on. But again, it's a drawing aid. It's not a requirement. Okay. So again, to erase it, just go ahead and select it all. Right-click, erase. All right. So hope you enjoyed that lesson from the Zen Master.